Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building this morning. We have Alex Rodriguez and Carlos Watson. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
What's happening?
All right. Well, you're here to promote OZY Fest. Now, what is OZY Fest? When I first heard OZY Fest, I was thinking of Ozzy Osbourne. I was like, Ozzy Osbourne is doing a festival? now, what is OZY Fest?
You know, it is. I think it's the coolest festival out there. It's a little bit of a music festival. So you got John Legend, you got Miguel, you got Arizona, you got Jazzy. But it's also kind of an ideas festival. You got big thinkers. You got Trevor Noah. You got Mark Cuban. It's a beautiful thing in Central Park, July 20th and 21st.
And ARod is hosting alongside yourself, Carlos.
He is. A couple of Miami guys bringing it to New York.
Yeah, you know, I did it last year, and I'm working with my office, and I had a talk, and you're looking at Google Map, and it's taking you to Central Park, and you're thinking, oh, it must be around Central Park.
Right.
It was in the heart, in the center of Central Park, and there was 25,000 people having a great time, listening to music, listening to talks, getting inspired. And I said, man, this brother's got something really special. And it found we had a lot in common because we come from Miami. Now, Carlos went to a school called Ransom. That's where my daughters go to school in Miami.
Oh.
So immediately we started going back and forth. Our parents have similar backgrounds. We don't come from, obviously, we both come from humble beginnings. And we started just hitting it off. And the lessons that his mother taught him were some of the lessons my mother taught me. And all of a sudden, I said, how can I be involved with this? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in Central Park, to have this type of vibe, block party, energy. The only park I know in New York City that's really, really cool is the Yankee Stadium.
Right.
And this is like the second thing. So I'm like, I can't be a Yankee because I can't play anymore, even though I'm wearing my pinstripes. But I said, OZY Fest is awesome, and Carlos and I are just doing this and really just bringing a lot of heat, a lot of energy. We're going to have 100,000 people in 2 days. That's 2 Yankee Stadium people, 2.
And this is the 4th year, right?
It is. It's funny. I think in a weird way, because everybody's on their phones today, you almost like need live events. You need a chance to meet new people, to hear stuff, to do it outside. And it's interesting. I was a big fan of Alex's. I watched him a lot on TV, watched him play game. And when he came to me afterwards to say, I'm interested in this. This is unlike anything I've done before, and I really want to get involved. If I'm honest, I didn't think he was going to go all the way.
Right.
You
but
hear that
he did.
all the time. Right?
Yeah, I got you, bro.
Sure. I'll call your people.
I'm there. So how is this progress? Because we see so many festivals that are about to happen, and there's a lot of difficulty with it. We see all the issues that Woodstock had. We saw the Fire Festival debacle. So for you starting this, 4 years ago, how has it progressed, and what have been some of the struggles? Because we see, some things just haven't been working out.
Yeah, I love that question. It's a lot of work. It is. And when we first started, it was one day. It was 2,500 people. All of my family, all of the cousins, everybody. We were talking about Hampton a minute ago.
Right.
I had 19 first cousins that came to the first event.
So it was just your family there.
Well, you know what? They were afraid, Envy, that nobody was going to show up. So they said they were just going to keep moving from thing to thing in case nobody did it. But it has grown beautifully. And again, Alex's participation, think about the fact that 3 years ago we had 2,500 people. This year we're going to have 100,000.
That's amazing.
And people calling it New York South by Southwest. So I think we have a chance to build something that'll be here for the long term.
How did y'all meet? How was that introduction?
So Carlos, I was one of the guest speakers last year at OZY Fest, and Carlos interviewed me, and we had this great vibe from the get-go. And, for me, I grew up, in my neighborhood, you either have to hit yourself out of the neighborhood or you go into drugs. And that's what I came up watching. And I just said, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so I better hit some home runs.
Okay.
And when I see Carlos, the guy that is Harvard educated, Stanford educated, and has a McKinsey background, immediately, I didn't grow up with role models like Carlos. So I said, boy, we are a great combination, because I'm a guy that hits home runs. He hits home runs in the business. And together we can really go out and generate a lot of interest, but really inspire the next generation. One of the first things that I told Carlos, I said, look, Carlos, I love the idea, but this can't be about the 1%. We have to take care of the 99%.
Right.
What's the social? Can we have students come in? And the bottom line, Carlos didn't hesitate. He says, a quarter of the tickets will be nonprofit for young kids, the next generation. I said, I'm all in.
That's a great idea, because some of these festivals are so expensive. They're very elite.
Yeah, one of the nice things that that Will.i.am said to me, he said he did it the first year. and somebody asked him, he said, why are you coming to this new thing? Nobody's done it yet. Nobody's heard of it. It's the first time. He said, because it's like TED for the people. And he said, it's important to me that when you have people like Malcolm Gladwell, when you have people like Stacey Abrams, when you have people like Issa Rae, that all kinds of people can get a chance to hear from them, laugh with them, enjoy them, hear the music. So that's what we're trying to do, and it's in Central Park, and it's during the summer. And so, yeah, I hope people will think about it a little bit and come enjoy it.
Now, what gave you the idea? Because, they said you were a problem child as a little one. They said you even got kicked out. They said you got kicked out of kindergarten. Who gets kicked out of kindergarten?
Exactly.
Man?
It takes extra work.
Carlos is a problem child as a kid. I'm a problem child as a man. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Carlos.
You know what? I just, it's kind of like what Alex said. I'm the son of two teachers, and it was interesting getting kicked out of school for the mom of a teacher. She's like, it's more embarrassing because
what could you do to get kicked out in kindergarten?
That's
Like,
kinda sad.
you want the whole story?
Kick a 5-year-old out.
What did you do?
All right, so I had an older sister. I have an older sister whose name's Carla, and we did everything together. And growing up, when she finally went off to kindergarten, she was like, how come I can't bring Carlos with me to school every day? And after about 2 weeks of trying to do that, she finally realized, if I can't bring him to school, I'm going to bring school to him. So every day after school, she would teach me literally everything she learned. So by the time I was 5, I could count, I could read, I could do all that. And so when they'd say things like, what's 2 + 2? I thought they were joking. We did that half a lifetime ago.
Right.
They didn't think that was funny when I would say something like yellow. And so I started getting kicked
2
out.
+ 2 yellow.
And once you start getting kicked out, as you know, especially young black boys back in the day, you can just get into a cycle, right? And you can get into a cycle where people think about you in one way. So that's what ended up happening to me. Luckily, I got some second and third chances, and so ended up getting on a different path. But it's one of those things that you got to be thoughtful about.
But I gotta tell you guys something, because this is true conversation that I had with my brother right here, Carlos. And I said, honestly, like, I didn't grow up with people that had an opportunity to go to Harvard, that had brown skin like us. I didn't grow up with people that went to Stanford Law. I said, how the hell did you do that?
Right.
Because it's so foreign and it's so inspiring. And I said, we together can go out and inspire the next generation, because I didn't have that choice. And I was scared to death that if I couldn't hit a baseball, my mother had 2 jobs. We weren't we didn't have a lot of education. And I said, Carlos, together we got to go out and impact the next generation. So I think when you think about the forum of OZY Fest, it's just the first. There's podcasts behind it. We can take this to London. We can take this to Japan, Tokyo. We can go to Brazil. There's so many.
So
voices.
that's the plan.
I think that has an opportunity, but I think our hearts are set in the right place. Because if you think about ROI for our money, this is not it. I mean, this is more of a social good for us to be bringing 100,000 people to the greatest city in the world. And the difference with I saw the thing was, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. The difference here is you just walk across the street. You're in Central Park, and this is for everybody.
We don't need hotel rooms.
None of that. None of that. You just show up as a block party. And what I plan to do is, all my buddies that actually do live in the park, y'all gonna come. Y'all gonna pay some money because y'all rich. But our poor folks, we want them to come in, free.
Now you see a lot of people getting Harvard degrees online, though. I saw a lot of people have been getting some type of Harvard degree. Did you see
this
that?
Is the real deal.
She's testing you. She's like, did you really get a degree?
You didn't get one of those, right?
You know what? That's hilarious. Check it on me.
Fry, and now this is the real deal. OZY Fest and Carlos, the real deal.
Did they text you your degree?
You know what? I took it any way I could get it. It's funny. When I was graduating, my mom wanted to throw a graduation party for me. I said, don't want to do it. She said, it's not for you, it's for me. She said, anyone who saw your first 10 years would not have bet on your last 10 years except for a mother. She said, only a mother would stick by you through it all. And so, as Alex said, I'm so appreciative that we're getting a chance to do this, because honestly, it's hard work, but it's fun too. And when you see people waiting in line, you see people excited about it, you see people texting about it. My little sister right now is texting me already saying, okay, now I'm going to buy some tickets. You're on the Breakfast Club now.
Don't make those 19 first cousins pay, because they were there from the beginning, so they still got to get their credentials.
You know what? Not only that, they want VIP.
They better get VIP.
They will get it. They will get it.
Now, why New York? You're from Miami. Why not Miami? Why not somewhere in the South? Why New York?
I think New York's the capital of the world, right? It's the capital of the world. And if you really want to bring people together, if you really want to show people not just a little bit of the world, but the whole world, you want to show them the best in music, best in sports, best in politics, entrepreneurship, like where else is it going to be natural to have Mark Cuban there, but also to have Trevor Noah there? Where else are you going to have a chef like Marcus Samuelsson, but you're also going to have an entrepreneur like Lorraine Powell-Jobs? Like, I think only New York could do it in the right way, at least to kick it off. And then, as Alex said, down the road, you could clearly see this living in different parts of the world as well.
Now, for artists like, let's say, Jennifer Lopez, you all want her to perform.
What made you pick that
Who
name?
calls that artist? Do you say, Alex, I need
can't
you,
ask for any more favors.
I need you to, just need this favor one time. Do you ask her for a cheaper rate?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do with Benny on that. That's gonna be a long conversation. No. You know what's funny about that is, Jennifer is not only a big fan and friends with Carlos. As a matter of fact, we've brought in Carlos to. He's a McKinsey guy who's a consultant. He's actually consulted in some of our businesses, and we're so grateful to have him as a friend. But she loves the idea of OZY Fest. She loves that 20 to 25% of the students are going to be for free. Number one, she grew up with holes in her shoes in the Bronx, right? And she claims she's a great athlete and a great shortstop, but all right, we got to believe her. But she loves the idea. Like Carlos said, New York City is the greatest city in the world. And my job, trying to come in and bring a little addition to Carlos and his mission and his vision is reach out to the folks like, by the way, I'm going to hear from you, Puffy. I'm coming to get you, baby. And we need Ciroc. We need all the people to come in.
That's a threat right now. Because the way we're going to do it is we're going to say,
that's right.
Puffy left the comment and Jlo's coming. ARod
That's a good teaser.
saying, I'm coming to see you.
You owe. You better pay up. You owe.
Good radio. No, but my boy Puff, we need you. We need everybody to support us, to support the next generation and give back. And this is the best event. By the way, this will be Southwest by Southwest. In 5 years, you're going to look back and go, we all want to be a part of it. By the way, you guys will be hosting from Central Park with us. That's my prediction.
You guys should be.
Okay.
We wearing ass.
You know what? Right about now.
I guess that was the ask right there. I guess that was the ask. Now, let me ask you a question. We had Jlo here a couple of weeks ago. And how did you guys meet? How did you meet Jlo?
Yeah, great question. So we met years ago, and we came back, and I was just literally at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And actually, I was running out because I was getting a call from my boy Michael Strahan, and we just had a conference call. So I walked by, she saw me, I didn't see her. On the way back, I walked by, I run into Jamie Foxx, and Jamie and I, now Jamie threw the party for me on the day I retired. So as I see Jamie, I said, Jamie, I had too much to drink that night, but I want to let you know, thank you for being a great host to my last party. And we kicked it to, late hours of the night. I had all my teammates there. And then I walk out, so I didn't see her. She didn't see me. I didn't see her. So as I walk out, she walks out. Now I'm at the valet. They can't find my car. And I'm just sitting there like an extra 15 minutes. Well, lucky me. That 15 minutes gave Jennifer and her partner, Elaine Goldsmith-Thomas, an opportunity to come out. She just tapped me on the shoulder. And immediately I go, okay, someone tapped me on the shoulder. They either want an autograph or a picture. And I turned around. Now, she had her whole shades of blue look. So she had her curly hair. She had jeans, holes, big Timberland boots. For about 3 or 4 seconds, I just saw a beautiful gal, but I didn't realize it was Jennifer.
Right.
Because I'm used to having her all glammed
She was
out.
Jenny from the block.
Yeah, so she was Jenny from the block. So she just said, hey, it's Jennifer. And I said, oh, Jennifer, hi. You look beautiful. What's up? And I just said, look, we should spend some time. I'm here with Fox. I'm doing my thing. And she said, yeah, you got my number.
Right.
I said, okay. So
Wait, you had her number already?
I had her number for something that someone gave me her number so I can use her as a reference. So we had text like a year ago before that. Nothing on the serious note. And
so is that a date when you're like, we should hang out? In your head, is that like, I'm asking her on a date, or is it?
Next time you have her here, I say, it wasn't a date. She says, BS, you knew it was a date.
Right.
I said, I didn't think it was a date. I said, we were just kicking it. And she's Friday night at 9 o'clock at the Bel Air Hotel. That's a business meeting?
And you guys were
Now,
alone,
that's a
just the
date.
two of you. That's
She said it was a date.
That was a
You
date.
knew what you were doing.
But I had to hedge it. So it was all good.
You had to say that just in case she said no. You'd be like, no, I didn't want to date you. I just wanted a business. Just in case she
You
said
got to
no.
protect the ego.
Now, how does it feel now, because before you're ARod, Yankee superstar, and people love you. But now it's almost like, no disrespect, you're an accessory now. Because now, like,
Yes.
I watch you at the Met Gala.
You're right.
And you're an accessory. You're an expensive watch now. Does that hurt at all?
You have no idea. Actually, you're being very generous.
You're a nice handbag.
Let me tell you something. the anger of the photographers when I get in the way.
They're like, move.
No, they're like, I wish it was that. Like, get the hell out of the way.
Move out the way.
And honestly, I love it so much. You know, I've been in the front line wearing my pinstripes for so long that I just love someone that is so great, that has such an opportunity to have an impact. She's honestly the smartest woman I've ever met. She's an incredible communicator, an incredible mom. And I got to tell you, I get tired watching her, but I get inspired. I know Carlos spent some time with her, and I think, you know, Carlos, myself, Jennifer, we all come from, you know, the low, right? And we're all trying to make it. But we're not trying to make it alone. We're really trying to bring people with us, which I think is the most important part.
You know, Alice, if you let me say it, I won't get too deep into your business, but it actually is beautiful to see them together. And I'm not just saying that because he's here, but it really is. Like, for anyone who loves love or who likes to see families together, they enjoy each other. They look forward to each other. They support each other, and they work hard. I'm used to, as an entrepreneur, being up late. Alex and Jen schedule meetings at Friday at 11. I'm not joking.
Really?
Like, they schedule meetings at Friday at 11, and so it is it's a deep partnership. It's a good partnership, and it's something where Angela, I think I've heard you talk about this before, but where you do feel like they're actually cheering each other on.
Right. No, that's important.
You
want
know
to be
what I
with
mean?
somebody that's happy for your success.
Yes.
That's not jealous of you, that knows when to get out of the way when you're trying to get ready for the Met Gala and they don't know what's going on and they're just, you know, move out of the way. That's good. Sometimes you have to do that. And sometimes she has to be like, okay, he's doing his thing. I'm going to just fall back. You know, and I'm sure that you've been having a lot of fun with this hustler stuff because there's some new moves going on.
But let me tell you something. We went to strip clubs.
She told me.
She told me. No. She told me. I was out in L.A. She's in New York. She goes, baby, I'm going to a strip club. I said, whoa. I'll be there on Thursday. We can go Thursday and Friday. I mean, it's part of due diligence, right?
You gotta research.
I said, this is amazing.
We asked. We asked and said, well, did you let him get a dance? She was like, he didn't ask. I said, smart man. How was that experience taking her to a strip club?
You know, I mean, Jen is so incredible. I mean, it was just.
Envy is great. I haven't been Envy before. These are great questions. I like the way you do this.
I'm married. I've been married for 17 years. So
you guys go. But Envy's always in the strip club because he DJs in strip clubs.
But when I go by myself, I bring my wife with me, so I just don't get in trouble. But how was that experience?
It was just great. I mean, the fact that no matter what job she's doing, she actually just converts into that person. And she needed to. I mean, she read and read and read. I said, baby, stop reading. Just ask me. I got the info.
I know how to do it.
And she started asking me real questions. They're like, what do they look for? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And I almost knew too much, which was kind of scary. But anyways, we went down, and honestly, we sat down with girls, and we were just literally interrogating, asking them questions. And then we would hit them up with, 4 or 5 G's and say, I'm sorry, $400 or $600. Says, thanks for your time, and then we'll move on to the next. And just, we weren't there for dance. We were literally there for work, and it was very helpful.
That's fun work.
Now, she also said that when it came to the ring, you did it all by yourself. Did you help him at all?
You know what? He didn't need help on that, but that was a beautiful move, and he practiced that like he practiced everything else. Have you heard the story?
How do you practice that?
He had to practice his proposal.
How do you practice
I'll
that?
tell you why, because I wanted it to be in the perfect sunset. So we went down to the Bahamas, and early on, that's one of the first spots we went to was the Bahamas. And we had to walk on the beach, and she said 2 things that were incredible to me. I actually stopped and I said, "You got to say that again." She said, 1, I hadn't taken a walk on the beach in over 20 years because obviously for privacy issues. And this was like at midnight. And then number 2, she said, "This is the first vacation I've taken in about 7 years."
Wow.
I said, "Okay, now those 2 things we're gonna change." So deep down inside, I knew that if this moment ever came, I would come back to this beach and do something special. I had just that feeling. So about 2 years later, we're on that same beach, and I wanted the sunset to be perfect. And I came out the first 3 days, and I just wanted to rehearse. And I rehearsed, going down on my knee to Ashley. Now, Ashley is my assistant.
I could imagine somebody took that picture.
Oh my God, he's a
See the
cheater.
back of Ashley's head. Not know it's just, oh my
And
goodness.
Ashley's a good-looking woman.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so that could have been trouble.
It could have been classic.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
And then, time came up, and we had a nice little dinner out there. It wasn't like something crazy, and it was just old school, classic, like I like to do things. And I just, went down to a knee, and I asked the question.
Were you nervous she was going to say no?
I wasn't nervous about that. I wanted the moment to be a nice moment,
Perfect,
a
right.
memorable moment. And as many times as I can fumble and screw things up, I just was hoping that I didn't screw it up this time.
Okay. What's the protocol? Let's say you're in the strip club and she says, Alex, why don't you get a dance?
Yeah.
Are you supposed to say yes, or do you have to say, no, I'm good. You know, I don't need to dance.
Let me tell you something. She did, and I didn't take the bait.
Okay, good.
I said, no,
That's a setup.
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I got all I want right here, man.
I said, come on, I'm 43. I've been there and done that.
That's definitely a setup question.
Now, also, now, what happens next with the family? Now, are you gonna help do this wedding, or are you just gonna let her take care of it? Do you care about it, or are you like,
of
hey,
course
babe,
he
you
cares.
take care of it?
You see, he practiced
Honestly-
the proposal.
Honestly, she is an amazing producer. I always say that she's a 10 performer and she's an 11 producer. She can produce things, and honestly, I wish we had her to help us with OZY Fest because whatever Carlos and I are thinking, she can do better.
Right.
You know, and it's funny when we have our board meetings, we're sitting there, you know, all the supposedly smart people in a room and trying to. She'll come in the last 5 minutes on her way to rehearsal. She's like, what are y'all talking about? And she goes, okay, these are the 3 things y'all need to do. 1, 2, 3. And she's always right.
That's
right?
amazing.
And-
What?
yeah.
What are some of the things that people can expect that's different? Because I know it's morphed a lot. So this year, like, what's changed from previous years?
I think the food's going to be crazy. If anybody likes food from around the world, OZY Fest is going to have it. We've got Marcus Samuelson. I don't know if you guys have had Marcus in here.
Oh, you know what? I just was at a gala and I was sitting next to him. And I've been to his restaurant in Bermuda. He has a great restaurant at the Princess Hamilton.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know the woman, Padma Lakshmi?
Yes.
Who's on, and then Rachel Ray. So we've got great chefs. I think people are going to love the music. But you know, one of the things I think that's going to get hotter and hotter this summer is the presidential election. And I think you're going to have more and more candidates. And so we can't announce it all, but stay tuned. We have some interesting
Pete Buttigieg.
politics. Yeah.
Okay.
Big,
You said yeah.
Big
He said
surprises.
yeah.
Stay
Is it
tuned.
Pete?
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We got
You're
an
not gonna wanna
announcement
miss
in
it.
about 2 weeks, but I think that's where everybody's going to be. Who's focused on
Carlos,
2020.
it sounds like in 2 weeks you need to come back and announce who's
Yeah,
gonna be.
we need to
because
know.
That,
Because
was,
we met a lot
that
of
was a
them.
mean tease.
Do you guys have any people that you like so far, as people that are running for president?
On the candidates, what do you think?
You know, I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'll tell you what.
Who do you like, though? Like anybody that's like,
I will be watching, and I'm going to go to the debate probably
In Miami?
In Miami,
Yep,
yeah.
Yep. Next month in June. I think a couple people have distinguished themselves early. I think Mayor Pete, you know, he comes from a small town, 100,000 people, youngest guy in the field. You wouldn't think he has a shot. That's interesting.
Right.
I think Kamala Harris is kind of come out of the box
love her,
strong. I think that's going to be really interesting to see where she shows up. Joe Biden has come to OZY Fest last year,
Right.
and it'll be interesting to see what he does. You know who's no one's talking about yet, but I think she could make a late game run is your senator here from New York, Kirsten Gillibrand.
Oh, I thought she was running.
She's running, but almost, but word's not out yet. But I think in the same way that sometimes the kind of people come from the back, kind of the people who aren't the front runners early on.
Right.
I think she can make a late game run. You got almost 30 candidates running,
Yeah, there's a lot.
and guess who else is talking about running?
Who?
Mayor De Blasio.
Yeah, he's
I don't know if he,
New York don't really love Mayor de Blasio though. You know, he's kind of 50-50 with
he
New
gave
York.
me my own day.
He did give you your own day. I rock with de Blasio.
Shout out to Mayor
but
Bill de Blasio.
he has to get home.
and the First
good.
Lady, Shalane McCray.
Yes, he has to get
Yes.
home behind him first. Now, is there anybody banned from the OZY Fest?
Why would somebody be banned already?
Like, would you let Donald Trump in if he wants to come? Will you let him in?
You know what? We would let him in. We would let the president in. Here's what I say. Part of OZY Fest is celebrating, enjoying, but part of OZY Fest is wandering into some new things that you normally wouldn't mess with. And so you might think that you're coming to OZY Fest because you love music. You might think you're coming to OZY Fest because you love food. But all of a sudden you might find Deepak Chopra. And you
Right.
might say, you know what? I didn't think that was me, but that's interesting. Or you might come to OZY Fest not knowing how much you love sports and realizing that that's a little bit of what you want. So we're going to try and surprise people a little bit.
Malcolm Gladwell.
Malcolm
we've
Gladwell's
had
going to be a
Malcolm
good one.
Gladwell
Have you had
here,
Malcolm
too.
on here?
Yeah, we
Yes.
have.
Yeah, we're excited about him.
Malcolm Strong.
Yeah, we have Malcolm up. Let me ask you a question. Now, we had your back. I don't know if you listened to the Breakfast Club. We had your back.
course.
I think we even gave him Donkey today. Jose Canseco wants to come. Do you ban him?
Can't do that.
What, you can't
ARod
ban him?
said yes.
No, he can't come.
Oh,
He's the only one that's banned.
Jose is banned. Jose's not
That's the
coming.
only person?
Jose's not coming. This is my partner right here, and Jose's not coming.
Jose, pop up, you got to swing, because Alex can't swing. You got to swing.
Yeah, he's not coming.
Well, we wish you guys the best. OZY Fest. And it'd be dope if the Breakfast Club could possibly broadcast there live. That would be pretty dope.
amazing.
July 20th and July 21st.
It's happening, and if folks are interested, tickets are online. OZYFest.com.
Okay.
Only
Now,
one Z.
Oh, yeah, OZY.
Last
OZY.
question I have. Jlo Working Out.
Yeah.
Does that force you to work out more because you're like, I got to work out because she looks like she's 21?
And you
so
have
I
to do
gotta
that
work
diet
out?
that she did too, with no sugar, no you have to do that
no
too.
sugar, no carbs. Yeah, we got into that mess together. Yeah, I mean, but it's a little bit more than that. It's not just working out, but it's just I think yesterday's ROI when it comes to money is today's health and happiness.
Yes.
And I think the world is changing, and I think Jennifer is at the forefront of that. She inspires me in every way, not just pushing me physically in the gym, mentally, emotionally. I think she's all our kind of true north.
So you're doing the no sugar, no carbs, none of that?
That's over.
I do. It doesn't happen all the time.
Okay.
After
So
10
that doesn't happen
days.
all the
It's over
time.
now.
but let me tell you, 10 days, it works, is a good cleansing, and we'll probably get back to it again.
Okay, well, we
me.
appreciate you guys for joining us.
Thank you guys. We love your show, and
Yeah.
Breakfast Club is the real deal, baby.
Thank you. Tell them where they can get tickets one more time.
OZYFest.com. People can hit it up right now.
1Z.
One Z.
Okay.
OZY.
All right, it's Alex Rodriguez, Carlos Watson. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.